Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. This is normally Throwback Thursday, but this is the last Thursday before New Year's Eve. So I thought I'd tell you another movie that I think you should be watching every New Year's Eve if you're not already. So the movie today for our throwback movie review and our last Earth Day throwback movie of the year is Strange Days from 1995. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so sometimes a movie will come along and at the time it seems pretty cool and a little bit cutting edge, and then you watch it a few years later, a few short years later, and it no longer holds up because the predictions it made didn't come true. Strange Days is one of those films. However, the content and the context presented within the film still does hold up today. The issues they touch on in this movie are still problems to this very day, with the whole thing being about how far is too far to push technology. And even today, I saw a story on the news about this little girl whose parent is mad because she got a toy that talks to her and talks to Alexa. Well, the toy makers apparently know that this is going to give information about what they're doing. Of course it does. You can't have a technology-based world without the technology you're using gathering information on how to better serve you. And this movie kind of falls into that trap. How far is too far? When is it too far? When does it become a problem? The concept of Strange Days takes place on the last few days of 1999, the countdown to New Year's Eve. Written originally by James Cameron and later told to his then wife, Catherine Bigelow, who then decided to make this into a movie. The movie deals with subjects like abuse of power, and of course some of the technology problems I spoke of. Now, it is a really strange movie, and thus the title Strange Days. Strange Days indeed, my friend. The movie has its cliches. Its number one cliche is that LA is now a danger zone. Well, duh. Isn't that every sci-fi movie ever? Well, then it also has this little device that people can put on them and they can relive memories. And it's become like a modern day drug, if you will, to live the memories, either yours or someone else's. And black market memories are very, very highly priced. The whole concept of it is kind of presented as it should be innocent enough, but it actually isn't. Because what follows is the revelation that captured in one of these memories is a murder. Now, this whole thing involves a very high-profile celebrity. With the world turning to this as a tragedy, one man now knows the truth. And it becomes a film noir type of cyberpunk movie with all the bells and whistles that follow. And it really is interesting. The movie was a box office failure at the time, which I really don't understand why. Now, during this time, a lot of things were going on in society. In fact, Catherine Bigelow didn't actually start to write this movie until she was inspired by the events going on in the real world. We had just had the end of the Rodney King trial and the Lorena Bobbitt trial. And with these events going on in the real world, she was inspired to actually write down the story that her husband at the time had come up with. So it became something that started to happen. Well, as the movie was going into production and everything, the O.J. Simpson trial was also happening. So now you have this movie surrounded by events that were going on in the real world at the time that sort of paralleled some of the same problems we were seeing in the movie. Not to mention that the movie sort of resembled a little bit of what was going on with Tupac at the time. A celebrity caught in a controversy that ultimately ends up in their death is something that hits society hard. With Tupac dying in 1996 and this movie coming out in 1995, a lot of people didn't get a chance to see this movie until 1996 when it was released on VHS. By the time it had been released on VHS, it was a whole different ballgame. So a lot more had conspired to make this movie even stranger to the people that were watching it. At least that's the way I took it at the time, because at the time when I saw this movie, it was after Tupac and after that incident. And I was just like, wow, yo, how old is this movie? And had to look up the fact that this movie was done a whole year before that. Now, I'm not saying it parallels completely everything that happened. In fact, it kind of parallels the world in general of that time period with a lot of the tragedies and a lot of the stuff that happened. And then also, it really does seem a lot like the world we live in today with the question of technology and how far is too far. So the movie in a lot of ways still holds up. And it has Juliette Lewis playing a rock star. And anytime you can get a rock star playing a rock star in a movie, when that rock star is also a very talented actress, that's a win-win situation. The movie can be a bit slow at times, and if you're not paying direct attention to the movie, it can be a bit jarring and confusing. But as sci-fi cyberpunk movies go that are somewhat outdated, this one actually is still pretty good. It is one that I do recommend you watch once. You may not like it as much as I do, but then again, I like the idea of Juliette Lewis playing a rock star, and that was kind of a major selling point for me. Now, the whole thing with it paralleling society is also something to pay attention to. Watching it now with the continuing conversation of how far is too far with technology actually makes it still relevant today. So I give the movie itself 3 stars, but I actually do recommend you check it out. I only give it 3 stars because the movie isn't for everybody. And I know it's not for everybody. But it is one that deals with New Year's Eve. It is a cyberpunk type of movie. And if you're into cyberpunk or, sci-fi, you're going to want to check this one out just because. So definitely watch it and let me know what you think. Alright, so don't forget to leave us a comment in the comment box below. We appreciate it. And it helps the channel. And then also, don't forget to share this video with all of your friends so they can be a part of the conversation as well. And then friends, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Miko says we need more subscribers. And you don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video we do. And then yes, friends, at the end of the day, what? Fandom is family.